Hi, it's Yana. Welcome back if you are already subscribed to the channel. Today we are back to building and we're doing a speed build of the apartment in How I Met Your Mother. I'm calling it Ted Mosby's apartment, but actually I think most of them except for Barney lived here at some point. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. This show is one of my all-time favorites. So I just want to go through something before we start with the build. So yesterday was such a good day for me, and all thanks to SimmerDownMichas. She created this thread for small YouTubers, Simmer YouTubers, and it was such a good thing. Like, I found so many new YouTubers that I had no idea of, and everybody's doing so amazing. Like, their content is so creative and just so much fun to watch. And so I really want to thank Mika for doing that. I will be linking her Twitter and YouTube down in the description box. So do go and check her out. She's so supportive and it was just a great thing to do. And also one thing you may have noticed is that I have changed my intro. So yeah, I did this whole rebranding thing and I did a new intro for my channel, and let me know what you think. I'm quite happy with it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I think it's just more fun than what I did have before. So yeah. Okay, let's start talking about this build. So for this build, I used a lot of reference pictures, and what I did notice is, because it's a set for a TV series, and it was like 10 seasons long. I don't know how many years it took to film it all, but the setting does change at some point, and some items are different in different pictures. And also when Lily and Marshall move into this home, of course it changed then. So I don't have like a certain time period where this is from. Like some points are from the first season when Marshall and Ted are living here, some are from when Robin is actually staying in the other room. So yeah, it's just kind of a mix and match of the seasons and time periods, but this was a lot of fun. This home has a lot of clutter, and it was just a lot of fun to place all these items, and so many clutter items that I don't normally use. So it was just a kind of a fun thing to try and clutter it up as much as I could. And I really enjoyed using some items that are related to the show and the story. And for example, I have Shocky, the old coffee brewer here, and I place here, you can see I place a basketball, because Marshall does play basketball at least in some episodes, and I just had a lot of fun. There's also the famous pineapple, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And okay, I have to admit something shameful, I'm quite embarrassed to admit this, but if I had to choose one character that I'm probably most like, it unfortunately has to be Ted Mosby. I wish I was more like Marshall, and maybe I'm a mix of a couple of characters, and I know all of them have some problems, especially Ted. But I'm very passionate about archaeology, like he is about architecture, and I do quote some philosophers at some points, or literature not characters, but writers. And when I was younger, I used to be this very romantic type of person, and everybody was making fun of me for it. So yeah, I don't think I'm like that anymore, but when I was younger I was. So yeah, I think Ted Mosby is mine. Let me know who you are most like, or who is your favorite character if you do have one. So yeah, let's get back to the build. You can see the swords here. There's actually 3 of them, and they have this sword thingy where there's 2 swords, and in one episode they are actually fighting. Marshall and Ted are fighting over the apartment, because they're Marshall and Lily are about to get married, and they're just like, who's getting the apartment, and they start this whole fight with the swords. And yeah, I just loved putting some references to the show in here. They don't have the swords above the fireplace. They have it above the piano, which I have here, but I have like an electric piano because we don't have a small one. So if I had to choose with a big piano or this electric one, it was an easy choice in the end. And you know, when I was doing this living room, I was really hoping that we would have like some throws or blankets and separate pillows to put onto the sofa, but we don't. So I used this like seating pillows and sized them down and lifted them up to sit on the couch to give it at least a little bit more of this kind of cluttered look. And you know, here Ted actually has this like drawing table for his architecture stuff, and I just placed 2 tables. The other one will have a computer, like this older one, not old one, but older one. And yeah, I just enjoyed this a lot. And because the TV series is usually filmed from one angle or a couple of angles, we don't get to see the front or the back of the apartment like ever. So I did kind of have to, you know, just make things up when I was there. And sometimes I do jump around quite a bit because, you know, when I started building this apartment, I did go and do all those things that I could and I knew I could place, and in the end I just fill it up. And I do take some creative freedom towards the end, you know, because I was kind of running out of things to place, and Sims does have its, you know, limitations. So it's not an exact copy, and we don't have all the items, and we have some different items. But I do think it quite looks like the apartment. And yesterday I released a picture on Twitter asking if people knew where those screenshots were from that I took from here. And yes, there was suddenly, like straight away, there was the Blooming Sim was the first one to point out that it was the How I Met Your apartment. So good job, and pat on my back, because at some point I was worried, what if nobody recognized this? Then it would be very embarrassing, and then obviously I would not have done a good job. Here I'm placing a curtain and doing this kind of a makeshift curtain rod to, you know, I didn't want to use the shower tub combos that already had the curtain on it, because you can't see the top at all. So I decided it was better to make this own version where you can actually see the top, more like in the show. And like in the rest of the apartment, we never actually get to see the left side of the bathroom, so I did place there what I thought fit there. So I do place these couple of countertops and I clutter it up. I put this kind of a cabinet there and also like a laundry basket. But I thought it turned out quite nice. And what I love about this apartment is because it's like you know, it's like a whole place with different kind of items. Like some of the items are so random and should not go together, but somehow I think it works. When you have a lot of this random item, you know, in one place, I think it works. In the end, maybe if we had just 1 or 2 random items here and there, it wouldn't look so cohesive, but it looks more cohesive than I was expecting. And it just, yeah, I like their eclectic style. And here I place some magazines in the bathroom. I definitely think they're the kind of person to have magazines in the bathroom. Did I say bedroom or bathroom before? Well, I meant bathroom, whatever I said. And their kitchen counters are actually yellow. Very light yellow, but we don't have that color in the game. So I do go and change these countertops to a different swatch. I changed them to one that I don't think I've ever used before actually. But this kitchen was probably like one of my favorite things to do here in this apartment, and it is shown, for example, in the first ever episode where Marshall and Lily get kind of busy there on the floor, even though Dad told them not to. But yeah, so I do place like Shocky, the coffee maker here, like I said before, and yeah, it was just so much fun. They have so many different things in the apartment that it kept things interesting. and I tried to clutter it up as best as I could, but obviously when you have a lot of clutter items, I do end up using some of the items a couple of times in this build, but I don't think it's too obvious, so it didn't bother me that much. But usually I try to stay away from using same items multiple times in the same house, because I just don't think it's realistic. But here I did do that a few times, but I hope that doesn't bother you. It didn't bother me, but yes. And you know, here I placed this kind of a sign thing from City Living, where they kind of advocating for some certain beliefs and things. So Marshall is very into environmental stuff, so I thought that fit there. And I did have an idea behind many of the things that I placed in this item, you know, to kind of reference what was happening in the TV show. And their dining table isn't shown very many times in the TV series, and it changes a couple of times. So I saw some reference pictures where it was a different shape and different style, but I went with this round one and I placed like a mismatched chairs there, because I think that's the essence of their style. Like, they are not going for one certain style, and they just have things that they have collected throughout the years. So yeah, that was my like thought process there. And here I have, for example, this romantic movie poster on the wall, and I think it's very Ted. He's such a romantic. He's not, you know, he doesn't do always the right thing, but you know, in the end he, you know, yeah, you know, if you have seen the show, you know how Ted is like. And here I'm cluttering up this shelf. I used this old TV. I also put some CDs on one of the surfaces, which I thought was fun because this was filmed, or the filming started in the beginning of the 2000s. So yeah, we still had CDs then. And I placed this robot head on the shelf, and I thought it was a lot of fun because his future wife and the mother of his children, Tracy, spoiler if you haven't seen the show, but Tracy does these paintings with robots doing different kind of things, and Ted thought that was so cool. So I thought it was a fun idea to place this robot head on his shelf. And I also placed the famous pineapple on his table, and there was this whole episode where the question was, when Ted had gone out and didn't remember what had happened, and there was this pineapple on his bedside table, where did it come from? At least Marshall was very wanted to know and figure out where did it come from. And I placed these kind of jackets on the side, and you know, the blazer that was there, I thought it was perfect because Ted was definitely into blazers. So yeah, I thought that suited him very well, even though I don't think in the show they at least don't show him having this kind of a clothing rack on the wall. Here I'm jumping onto the kitchen because I just saw this cup holder and I thought it was perfect for their kitchen, exactly something I thought they would have. So I just had to place it there before I forgot. But yeah, I think we're quite done. Here I have the barrel that Marshall had. He even had a name for it. I can't remember the name, but it was bigger, and he was, you know, Lily didn't want to keep it, so he put this barrel on the streets where everything usually disappeared, but this one didn't. So it was just fun to add it here as well, even though it wasn't exactly alike. And when I started building this second bedroom, we don't have a lot of reference, at least I couldn't find a lot of reference pictures in this home. I know this room was shown at least when Robin moved out and Ted was trying to figure out what to do with the room. But all I basically knew was that it was red in color, and also it didn't have as much clutter as the rest of the apartment. So I do build this imagining this room is Robin's bedroom. So I place some makeup items here, and I also put an artwork here right now with this kind of a wintry, mountainy photo, which I thought was kind of like supposed to be like a Canadian landscape, so that it's something for Robin that reminds her of home. So okay, so I have a thought. I was thinking about doing a cast video where I do all of these main characters, and also maybe doing the bar and possibly the other apartments, like Barney's apartments, maybe Marshall and Lily's. So if you would like to see that, let me know. I'm totally open to do that. This was so much fun. It was so different building from so closely looking at reference pictures than I usually do. This pumpkin here isn't on the pictures, but it reminded me of the slutty pumpkin that they had in the TV series that Ted was looking for years. And here I place a different item here because it was more like in the TV series. So here we are in the screenshots, and thank you so much for watching. If you did like this, please subscribe and like and comment, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.